Hey everybody, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools channel, and today we're going to learn how to cut and connect PVC piping. So stick around and I'll see you guys right after this. Okay, so first of all guys, what is PVC? PVC stands for polyvinyl chloride. That's the technical chemical name for it, and it's a plastic polymer. It's one of the most widely produced plastics in the world, and no, it's not bleached. It's naturally the color white. Now, there are two forms of PVC, rigid and flexible. These pipes right here are considered to be the rigid form of PVC, but PVC in its natural state is very brittle. It's almost like a powder. The addition of fillers, modifiers, and other chemical additives like plasticizers determine how hard or soft your PVC will be. For example, these are PVC pipes right here that we're all familiar with in the construction industry. And like I said, these are the rigid form of PVC. And you see this mainly used in the plumbing industry, etc. But did you know that PVC is also used to make ATM cards, plastic bottles, certain types of packaging? Now, those examples are still on the more rigid end of the PVC spectrum, but the more plasticizer added, the more flexible and softer PVC becomes. And the softer byproduct is used to make things like the plastic covering of electrical conductors like cables, like this, okay? Raincoats, shower curtains, and a wide variety of other more flexible plastic materials. Okay guys, now that you got a little lesson on PVC and the different types of PVC, let's get into what this video is really about, which is how to cut PVC, specifically PVC piping, and connect them. Okay guys, there are three ways that you can cut your PVC pipe. Number one, you can use a hacksaw or handsaw, okay? Number two, you can use a ratcheting pipe cutter. And number three, you can use a miter saw. We're going to demonstrate how to use all three. So before you do any cutting, it's recommended that you lubricate your pipe with a lubricant that won't corrode or eat away at the pipe. In other words, a lubricant that won't damage the pipe. And that's said to be a silicone-based lubricant, like a silicone-based WD-40 or even cooking oil. You don't have to unload the whole bottle of cooking spray or WD-40 onto the pipe or even cooking oil. You can just do a quick burst of spray or a quick dab of oil on the area that you're going to cut, and that should be it. Lubrication does not only help with the cutting process in terms of giving the blade a smoother ride through the material, but it also helps to reduce the amount of dust and debris, fine debris that may, fly around as well. So, because you don't want to inhale that stuff. This stuff isn't good to breathe in. So you may want to do that before you start cutting. And it goes without saying that lubrication lengthens the life of your tools, specifically the blades in your tools as well. Okay, so the first tool that we're going to use to cut our pipe is called a ratcheting pipe cutter. Now, what I like most about the ratcheting pipe cutter is that it's a ratchet, which means that it leverages the mechanical power of a ratchet to do most of the work, which means you don't have to squeeze like what just to get through your material, okay? All you have to do is squeeze enough for the blade to penetrate the material and just ratchet it down, and it'll cut through it like butter. Okay, so this is a 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe cutter, which means that the largest diameter pipe that it can handle is a 1 1/4 inch pipe. So I have three pipes here. I have a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and a 1 inch. Let's go ahead and cut our 1 inch pipe with our pipe cutter. So the first thing we're going to do is make our mark on the pipe. Let's just say we want to, cut off this piece here. Right there. So we want to place our pipe on a stable surface. I got this piece of cinder block here. You want to place it on a stable surface before we cut, right? So we're going to take our pipe cutter, place the pipe within the jaws of the pipe cutter, and line up the blade with the mark and simply ratchet down. So it only takes about 1 or 2 ratchets before the blade penetrates the material. Okay, once it's in, just continue to ratchet down. And there you go. Nice clean cut. And if you notice, this cut may not seem that square, and there could be several reasons for that. Sometimes these pipe cutters, the blade itself, it's not sitting square within its housing, okay? That can cause the angle on the pipe. Sometimes the pipes themselves, they're not square when you buy them, but that shouldn't make a difference if the pipe cutter itself is square. So just keep that in mind. At the end of the day, most of the time you're gonna put fittings over this end anyway where you cut, and the slight angle on the edge shouldn't matter at all. So once you're done cutting, your tool is probably gonna look like this. The blade is gonna be shut all the way. In order to open it back up, just yank on the handles like this, and the blade pops back open. Now, one more thing about PVC cutters. It's not suggested that you use these when you're cutting in temperatures below 50 degrees, because the PVC becomes soft and brittle at those temperatures, and using these can actually break the PVC, shatter it, and so forth. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so the next method is gonna be the hacksaw or the handsaw. So just like before, you wanna place your pipe on a stable surface that's square, like this piece of cinder block here. Take your marker, make a mark, and with the hacksaw, you want to start really slow, okay? Start at this end of the hacksaw and drag it back slowly to make an indentation. Then simply saw it off. Now, as you can tell, that's not as clean as the PVC pipe cutter, but it did the job. Okay guys, if you notice me struggling a little bit with the hacksaw, there's an even easier way to do it. You can take a miter box, and by the way, go check out the video on how to use a miter box. It's called the miter box review video, and it shows you how to use one of these things. These things are amazing, okay? So you can take a miter box and you can place your pipe in the miter box. This is our 1-inch pipe, like that, okay? Make sure the pipe is tightened down by turning these here, all right? It's not going anywhere. If you notice on the miter box, I marked the different angles that you can cut on the miter box. They're actually there already, but I just used the marker to make them more bold so you can see them better. So we want to cut our pipe at 90 degrees. This is the 90-degree slot here, straight, okay? So there you go. The pipe is in there, secure. And all we need to do is take our saw that comes with the miter box, by the way. But before we do that, let's fasten our miter box to our workbench. Then we'll take our saw, put it in the 90-degree slot. There you go. That's a lot cleaner than the hacksaw. Not as clean as the PVC pipe cutter, but definitely cleaner than the hacksaw. More square as well. Okay, so the last method is the miter saw. So we're gonna use our 3/4 inch pipe for this cut. Now that's clean. It's not as clean as the PVC cutter, but it's definitely cleaner than the hand saws. The trade-off with the miter saw is that of all 3 tools, it's the fastest one, but it's not the most portable. Okay guys, the last step is to show you guys how to connect two pieces of PVC with a fitting, okay? This is a 90-degree fitting. It's a 90-degree reducer actually, and that's what it's called because this end is for a 3/4 inch pipe and it reduces into a 1/2 inch pipe right here. So we're gonna fit a 3/4 inch pipe with a 1/2 inch pipe with this reducer here. Okay, so the first step is to apply PVC primer and then PVC cement, okay? Now this PVC primer, when you open it up, the scent is pretty potent, okay? It'll hit your nostrils pretty strong, so you may want to wear a mask when you open this up, okay? So you won't inhale and breathe those strong fumes, all right? But this is what you apply first. So before we apply the primer, we want to make sure that the ends we cut are clean, okay? That there are no burrs. You want to wipe it off, make sure it's clean, nothing sticking out or messy like the handsaw ends. You want to make sure everything's clean, okay? Then you want to take your primer and apply it to the inside of the fitting first. Just dab it around in the inside of the fitting. Then you want to take the end of your pipe and dab it around the end of the pipe. Applying the primer is very important. This step should not be skipped. Then you want to go back and apply it again right here inside the fitting. Now the next step is to apply the cement, but this time you want to start with the pipe first. So take your cement and apply it around the pipe. Then you want to take your fitting and apply it inside the fitting, then around the pipe again. Then you take your pipe, insert it in the fitting, and give it a turn, slight turn, and hold it for 30 seconds. Okay, so after 30 seconds, just, wipe off the excess with a towel or rag. And that end is ready. Okay guys, so that's how you connect PVC piping. Whether you're cutting PVC on a daily basis like my construction and plumber people, or you're a DIY person that does it every now and then for a quick fix or whatever you're doing, make sure that you keep the blades on whatever tool you use, whether it's miter saw, PVC cutter, or hacksaw. Make sure you keep the blade sharp and well maintained so you'll always have a good tool at the end of the day. If you learned something today about cutting PVC pipes, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, that notification bell, and don't forget to share it with whoever you want to share it with. And I'll see you guys in the next one.